Hi lovelies, it's Luna here, and I'm back with part 2 of Healing the Patriarchy with Love. And if you didn't join me for part 1, it's available on my Facebook page and on my YouTube, so you can just have a look. There's actually a YouTube playlist for them on my YouTube, which is Luna Louise Anna. And my Facebook page is facebook.com/Luna Louise Anna. So you can find the videos on there as well in the sequence. Okay, so in part 1 we had a look at what is the patriarchy. And we got down to me talking about how my belief is that it's the over-reliance and overvaluing of the mind and the under-reliance and undervaluing of the heart. And I talked about how I've always thought of the mind as being masculine and the heart as being feminine, and that's why we see this patriarchal imbalance, basically. Okay, so today I thought it would be fitting for part 2 to talk about the belief that there is a top 1% of people in the world who are controlling the world, who are pulling everybody's strings and have all the say and all the power in the world. And commonly this is thought to be the Illuminati, Satanists, bourgeois, the multi-billionaires collectively together working against the rest of the world. And I'm not here to say whether that is true or not, because it's not my place to say what version of reality is right for any person. But what I wanted to do was talk about how that belief has become unhelpful in terms of healing the patriarchy with love, because what it does is it gives people a place to project onto instead of taking responsibility and empowering themselves. So what commonly goes along with this belief that there's a top 1%, and again I'm not saying that there isn't, that there is or there isn't, I'm just saying that there is a belief that there is a top 1% that have all the control and an evil agenda. And what tends to happen with that is people get very angry about it, understandably, and very upset about it, and they blame them for everything, and they tend to wait until that top 1% gets found out by everybody, and then suddenly miraculously the whole world will turn good, or that top 1% will suddenly turn good because they'll realise that they can't just carry on being how they're being, and when that happens the world will become good. And that's very disempowering, and it actually isn't true either, because what's happened is every single person on the planet has collectively created the world that we see and the mess that we see. And okay, the ordinary everyday person might have created less of the mess and more of the beauty, but we are all equally responsible for what we see before us, because in one way or another we have gone along with it, or we've actively created it, or we've taken part in it, or maybe we turn a blind eye to it. All kinds of different things mean that we have created it together. And what that means is we have to take responsibility for our part. And that means that we can't then blame a 1% or anybody else, including the government or anybody else, even if they are in power, even if they do have more say. That's irrelevant, because the only way to heal that and to change that is to give yourself more say, and you have the power to do that. Okay, so what I wanted to do as well was just talk about, go back to the teaching from part one, that patriarchy is the over reliance and the overvaluing of the mind, and the under reliance and the undervaluing of the heart. In other words, the feminine and the mind being the masculine. And if we start to think about that and then have a look at where we generally imagine that our mind lives, we tend to sort of think of it as being up here, don't we? Kind of around the brain, the head, and we talk about being stuck in your head if you're very stuck in your mind. And then if you just think about kind of like that bit of you, and then the rest of you, it's roughly 1%, isn't it? And then the rest is roughly 99, the other 99%. So what you can see from that is an external reflection is happening to help to teach you and to bring you back to yourself and your own imbalance of the top 1% having all the say and the rest of the other 99% not having any say, or not enough of a say. And of course it'll be slightly different for everybody, but you can see that there is that reflection being shown to us. So I always think like what's seen externally is just like a feedback system for ourselves, for our own individual selves and our own internal landscape. Another way of thinking of it, sort of like psychologists like Carl Jung would think of it as being, what you see on the outside is a reflection of what's in your subconscious, for example. Well, subconsciously, we've been educated and, if you like, programmed into over-relying on the mind and overvaluing it, and undervaluing and under-relying on the heart. I mean, that exists throughout, education, throughout the media. We also have a tendency to reward and think of people that are very stuck in their mind and very mind-based to be more successful. And very mind-based jobs get rewarded more than heart-based ones with more pay. So you can see that we've all got this subconscious programming of this top 1% and the lower 99%. So the way to heal the patriarchy with love, so that the top 1% no longer has all the power, is to stop allowing our top 1%, in other words our mind, to have all the power and the other 99% not to have as much power. And the way that we do that is we start to make choices from the heart every day in small actions. And what tends to happen when you start to do that is it can be a little bit scary, and sometimes you discover that you've got trust issues. You don't trust your heart. You think, oh no, that can't be true. And not everything that the heart and the body feels is true, and not everything that the heart and the body feels should be followed up on. And that's why we do actually need our minds, because our minds help us to discern, what is safe, what is good, what is true, what you are currently able to give from your heart, and what you are actually not able to give from your heart at this moment in time. So it's basically the union of the feminine, the heart, and the masculine, the mind, that needs to be healed and needs to be brought together to work in a closer partnership and a more balanced partnership. And when that happens, you will see that the top 1% externally will no longer have all the power. So things like, and there's nothing wrong with this as such, but shouting about them, asking people to wake up and see what this top 1% are doing and what they're planning next, things like that, they don't work. Because it's not healing where the root of the problem, which is the over-reliance and the overvaluing of the masculine mind, and the under-reliance and the undervaluing of the feminine heart. So the only way to actually heal it and to solve it, if you like, is to start to follow the heart more in every action. So I'm going to come back in part 3 and talk about how you can live from the heart in everyday simple circumstances, you know, just in everyday actions, everyday conversations, that kind of thing. And I would love to hear from you. So if there's anything, any questions you've got, anything you would like me to talk about, um, I do have a heart-led sense that this is probably going to turn into a podcast. So I am more than likely at some point going to invite people on to talk with me. Not an interview as such. At least I don't think. I don't think, but then again, you never know. The heart might have other ideas. Hey. Um, yeah, so I think it is going to turn into a podcast of some sort with people coming on, and I will interview them or talk with them, or maybe even just let the person come on and just do their own talk about healing with the patriarchy. I'm not sure yet. I haven't had the full guidance around it, but I think that is forming. So if that is something that you'd be interested in doing, you'd like to be a guest, or you'd like a guest spot, let me know, get in touch, and we can talk about it and work out how best to do that. So I'd love to hear from you. But please also join in and write things in the comments, include questions, that kind of thing. I really would love to hear from you. So please join in. Okay, so please give me a follow on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Luna Louisanna. I'd love to have you over there and joining in the fun. Okay, thanks so much, darlings. It's been lovely to be with you. I'll see you in part 3.